You're listening to the ATU Library Podcast. This is Luke Heffley. We have a special guest today at the Ross Pendergraft Library. Can you please introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what you want to share at the library and at Arkansas Tech University?
Okay, great. I'm Sherry Tinerella. I'm the Public Services Librarian here at the Ross Pendergraft Library. I am going to talk today about Open Educational Resources, otherwise known as OER.
So tell us, what exactly is OER?
OER is Open Educational Resources, but what makes them open are these licenses, these alternative licenses that work on top of copyright called Creative Commons. And these make resources accessible to everyone at no cost. What this does in the long run is it gives students free textbooks, is the bottom line.
Is there anything else that students can get for free?
Absolutely. There are open courseware, open learning objects, open tutoring, open everything.
Open everything. When did OER start at Arkansas Tech, and when did it start in general?
In general, it goes back about 20 years. People that started it are still around doing the work, creating platforms for others to use. We are in our third year of this initiative on this campus.
So how does OER impact higher education?
Well, it does several things. First of all, it saves students money. And research has showed us that 65% of all students have not bought a textbook because of the cost. And of those 65%, 94% of those worry about classwork. Not having a textbook on the first day and being prepared leads to a lot of withdrawals, failures, and such. By having open courseware, students are ready on the first day. These resources can be customized by the faculty to reflect the demographics of the students.
I recently read somewhere the average cost for textbooks for an entire year was close to $1,500.
Yeah, that sounds about right. We had a wall up last year that said, what would you do with the money if your textbooks were free? And students were able to respond with Post-it notes. And we had everything from pay rent, pay for my car, help my mom, and buy a hamster. That was the funniest one. All kinds of things. And it really is a problem. The textbooks have increased 300 times the rate of inflation in the last 20 years.
Wow.
So it really is a model for the publisher. Open resources are accessible for a lifetime as long as they are available and accessible online, or you have the right to download it, keep it, share it. That's part of what open is. A definition of an open educational resource is something that is created with the intent of sharing. The Creative Commons licenses let you say what rights the user has. Like, you can use this, but you have to attribute it. You can use this, but not for commercial purposes. You can't change it. Bottom line for open resources is that you can change it. You can revise it. You can take pieces from other works and mash them together, redistribute it.
Arkansas Tech uses the term zero textbook cost. What does that mean?
Basically, any OER is zero textbook cost, but not every zero textbook cost is OER. If a professor wants to save money for students by replacing the textbook with a book that maybe the library has licensing, that way it's accessible, but it's not open to the world. It's not free. The library pays for the book. So there are other instances where perhaps at the class for an internship, maybe that wouldn't have a textbook. So it would be zero textbook cost. And these classes are marked that way when they go to register. There's a filter there called zero textbook cost, and students can search for classes with that filter.
So how is the decision made that certain textbooks or certain courses can become OER?
Well, it's all up to the faculty. It's up to the faculty to initiate a change, which is a lot of work for faculty, which is why we've had an initiative. We're in our third year of this initiative now that's supported from Academic Affairs for giving grants to faculty for adopting or adapting or creating open educational resources.
So can a faculty member receive a grant or a stipend to help create an OER course or textbook?
Yes, exactly. So we take the applications in the fall and the committee reviews them and chooses them. I believe we have 22 this year. We've had 35 the first year. And they're all listed on our Open Educational Resources Guide on the library website. If you go to the library homepage, library.atu.edu, there's a OER link right next to it. And that's got all of the awardees listed, all of the information about our program, as well as how to find OER.
How long can an OER textbook remain available? Are there codes or links that will no longer work after the course is over?
No, these are all open sites, available, free. Items that our faculty have created are in our institutional repository. We've had, I believe, 6 or 7 books created by our faculty in the online research commons.
Has OER been promoted in the high schools? And if so, has Arkansas Tech been a part of the process?
Yes, that's a good question, too. We had last summer, Arkansas Library Association's College and University Interest Group had a workshop for K through 12 educators on how to find and use OER. It's a little bit different for textbook adoption since that's done by the district. The students don't actually pay for the textbooks.
How do we know that students are learning using OER? Has there been any research comparing traditional books with OER?
Yes, there has. There's actually research, and I have that on the website, that shows an increase in grade point average as well as a decrease in the withdrawals and drop and failures.
Really?
Yes.
What if a student's uncomfortable using the digital format in OER?
Print copies are available through print on demand. That's done through bookstores. However, OpenStax is one of the leading companies, nonprofit companies, through Rice University, and it's one of the forerunners of open educational resources. Mostly gen ed courses. They have all the textbooks, and they have them printed for $30 each.
Really? How did OER become part of Arkansas Tech University?
Okay, 2 things happened at the same time. It started out as a leadership tech project. The university was creating enrollment and retention strategic plan, and that was included to have 0 textbook cost and OER as part of that plan. Leadership Tech was meeting, and I was part of a team that needed to create a project that is good for the university. I had been looking into OER for several years, learning about it and talking about it. So at the same time I was proposing that project, became part of the strategic plan here at Arkansas Tech. Administration sought us out and supported us by sending us to an OER institute.
An OER Institute. What's that?
So it was a training and background and learning all about OER for our team. Our whole team participated in this institute. It was over several months.
Can Arkansas Tech and other universities partner or share educational resources that have already been created?
Yes, there's a vast amount of OER available. Like we mentioned, OpenStax, that's just one platform. There are states that have cooperative universities working together to share their OER creations and to put it out there. They have joint repositories. There's LibreText, BC Campus, and all of these came out of universities that work together for their state. And a lot of states have legislation that promote OER or requires OER.
Is the state of Arkansas looking into that in any way?
I would like to see some kind of support from the state in this because we are fortunate to have this initiative here. Not everywhere can do that. University of Arkansas has a program. The University of Arkansas Community College at Crossett has been a leader in this. Their classes are 65% OER.
By next year, what do you anticipate the percentage of classes at Arkansas Tech might be OER?
Well, there's a lot more classes that are ZTC, zero textbook cost, than there are OER. So it's hard to say what that number actually is.
Is Khan Academy something like
It
OER?
is. It's an open platform. It's open courseware. These courses came out of a movement for MOOCs, MOOC, massive online open courses, and they're used by lots of faculty around the world. In fact, one of our faculty has used the MIT courseware in its program.
Other than textbooks, what else can be considered OER?
Some ancillary parts of learning, like the test banks, the PowerPoint slides that go along with it. That's a deterrent to using OER, but the more that create those and make them available, put open licensing on them for people to use with it. In fact, a lot of faculty, if you contact the author of an OER, they'll likely share that with you. They just don't leave it open and out there for students to access.
Are you talking about PowerPoints and even test banks?
Yeah, PowerPoints, test banks, quizzes, videos, animations, all kinds of things. There are some websites where that's all they have.
Is there an opportunity for OER to help schools and other universities in other parts of the world?
Yeah, I think the only barrier would be languages. There are initiatives to promote them being translated. There are people that work on translating into other languages so that they're more accessible throughout the world.
Are there conferences or other opportunities for someone to learn about OER?
Yes, I attended a national conference. There were people from all over North America. It's a huge movement.
Were these representatives from universities or from companies also?
OER platforms, we should say. OpenStax was there. They had a marketing workshop. Vendor that would be important to OER is Pressbooks, inclusion, data. How do you keep track of all of the research?
You mentioned AI. How much do you think artificial intelligence will be a part of OER?
I think it's going to be a huge part. Presenters were discussing using it for outlining and for creating test materials that go along with the content.
What happens when materials might not fit the norms or possibly culturally outdated?
Oh, that's a good point. That one of the beauties of OER is that not only do we not perpetuate, but you can change the text to incorporate the groups, the ethnicities that are prominent on your campus. So you can use a Native American group that is from your area as an example, your stories. And they're talking about as well pedagogy, which is getting the students involved in the OER process.
You're talking about textbooks, not literature from years past.
That's sort of a different thing. If it's something that was written in the past and you're going to study Tom Sawyer, you can't edit. That's under copyright. So that's a decision made by the school district.
You mentioned Creative Commons earlier. How do they work with OER?
Well, they work together by default. I took the Creative Commons certification for librarians, and that's all about how to advise using the Creative Commons licensing for faculty and those who create so that I would have the knowledge of using those licenses in the correct way.
Share with us what you do at Arkansas Tech University and how you got involved with the OER process.
What I do is I pretty much coordinate. It comes out of the Associate Vice President for Academic Affairs, and I work side by side with Dr. Cullen, who is the Center for Faculty Life Director, and we work on this, and we have a committee that works together to review and to guide the program.
What is your role at the Ross Pendergraft Library?
Public services. So I oversee instruction, reference, circulation, and interlibrary loan. So in a way, it's related. A lot of librarians across the country are leading this.
So what do the students think about OER?
Well, I went to a SGA meeting and I presented OER to the students, and they were very interested in free textbooks. After that session, I emailed them and asked that they sign a resolution supporting OER, and they did. So it's an official item that's endorsed by the student government.
So what's been the response from the administration?
I believe they're pretty happy with the results because we've saved a lot of money, hundreds of thousands.
If someone wants to find out more about OER, how do they do that?
Well, they can go to the OER website on the library homepage, click the OER next to the faculty resources, or they can contact me, Sherry Tinerella, at stinerella@atu.edu, or come and see me. My office is behind the reference desk. My door's open.
Thank you for being here today.
Okay, thank you, Lou.
Well, that concludes our podcast. If you would like to listen to other podcasts from the ATU Library, go to our website at library.atu.edu and click on the podcast link.